Hello, everyone, and welcome back to this week's episode with me and Erika on Soul Sisters Real and Raw Talk Show. Hi, Erika.
Hello, beautiful. How are you doing?
I'm fine. It feels like a rebirth energy today.
Are you feeling it?
Yeah. But today, we were talking a little bit before about, and I received even more signs on today's topic about, oh no.
I love this topic because one way or another, me as a mom and you as a mom too, that
Yeah.
we feel that we have these specific roles, right? And expectations from others, like what society expects from us and all the things. And me with my temper that I was like very shy, very reserved, but I'm like, I have this rebel spirit. Like I know that I'm here to break some rules,
Yeah.
ruffle some.
You're already doing it.
I'm doing it. I'm doing it in
I
some
have
way.
so hard times to imagine that you were shy
Yeah, right. Right now, yes. But if you knew me maybe
because you're so
two,
straightforward.
3 years ago, I was like, I was brought up in a very Catholic family that I was also very dysfunctional, and then I didn't have a voice. I was undermined, minimized, scapegoated. So I didn't find myself until much, much later in life investing in healing, investing in therapy, investing in energy healing as well. So as a medium myself, there was a lot of uncovering, a lot of unpacking. One of the things that I know, I'm so good at calling myself out when it needs to. And I'm so good because this is a practice, this is a devotion of staying in the sock and subtracting the gift from the sock.
What's that? You have to explain to me in my Swedish.
Embracing the
In
sock.
Swedish. Yeah. What's that?
Suck is like something difficult, something that is challenging, like
Okay, thank you.
sucks, right? Like something.
Oh yes, it's
Yeah,
sucks.
less
Okay,
than
then
ideal. When something
then
less than ideal in life presents, because we are lifing, right?
yeah. Now
Life
I'm with
happens
you.
even to us, like because this is a funny thing that I get clients and they're like, oh, but this doesn't happen to you. Like they tell me their things and I'm like, why would you think that? Like, why would you
Yeah.
think that I don't experience challenges just because I have this practice, just because I guide people to find themselves and to overcome this challenge? It doesn't mean that I don't experience challenges. I do.
No.
It's just a different stand. Like I don't victimize myself
Mm,
anymore. I'm like, okay, what is here at plate? What is here for me? And
mm,
it's usually, like life is an architect of your own making.
yeah.
So if you are in this evolution journey, life is going to present ways for you to grow.
Yeah.
Life is going to present ways that challenge your beliefs, challenge your way of thinking, your perceptions around the world, your perception
Mm,
about yourself. So I feel like it's very important to put it as it is, like rather than putting challenges as disempowerment or like why is this so difficult? Like why does this happen to me if I am in
exactly.
why in this spiritual journey? If
Yeah.
I am in this spiritual journey, everything has to be like jolly lolly, pink and flamingos flying around. Like no,
Unicorns.
the
No, but
unicorns and all. No.
I think as well, like I love what you're sharing because it's so easy, and I've done it so many times to put someone on a pedestal, or that I also have felt that I need to prove myself, which
Right.
is my insecurities, like my past insecurities. It can still show up. But now I know how to like, okay, wait a minute. Why do I need to prove myself here?
To whom?
And then I can exactly and like sit with it, even if it is in the conversation. And like you say, it's a practice. But for the topic with performance, has felt that maybe they needed to perform to be accepted, liked, good enough, worthy. There is a lot of performance. I have performance on reels, on my content up until last year in August, to be honest, because that's when I was like, hell no, I'm going to speak my truth now about my story. And especially about the love I share with my twin flame love, because even if that's can be hard for other people to understand because it's so spiritual, it's still my story. I'm going to share it. And it was so scary. And the scarcity was not being, for me, not being judged from, people I don't know, because
Mhm.
frankly, I feel like, okay, judge me. I don't even know you. So go ahead. Every trigger, every judgment is about themselves, including myself, if I judge you or me, or I mean, if I judge someone else. But it was actually putting myself out there. My biggest like fear was to be excluded from my family. But on the other hand, I have already felt like I'm like a unicorn in my family, and that's fine.
100%.
Exactly. But we also have, which I love with my family, they don't try to convince me on anything. They are in their journey, and their awareness or not awareness or whatever. So that's something beautiful. But I think subconsciously the reaction wound was so big, which is back then to the root cause, which is when I was rejected from my birth mom and dad before I was adopted. So it's always, so that was kind of still playing.
Wow, that's huge. And it's
Yeah.
always going back to like the root cause. And that's why I love my phrase, embracing this, like sitting really with yourself and start going inwards and asking, because like the more you ask, the more you receive the
Yeah.
answers within you, or like awareness. I love what you share, that you start shifting since August because you had this awareness. And I believe when you have awareness, it brings this beautiful shift, because without knowing, you cannot change. So the
No,
first step is for you to know what it is that is less than ideal or is not working for you. That, okay, sit with yourself. And this is the most uncomfortable part,
it
because
is.
it required us to really go inward and see the parts of us that perhaps we've been hiding because we also don't like about ourselves. How can we sit with that and like, I'm gonna hold space for this. I'm gonna sit and I'm gonna ask questions. Okay, when this started happening, when I started believing that, was there an incident? Was something that somebody said? Like, try to dig as deep as you can. Then you
Mm.
sometimes you can throw even like broader questions like, this happened before birth. This happened
Exactly. Exactly.
from a lineage, like this happened, like where it happened. And we all have intuition, because this is another thing. I get people like, oh, but like, can you tell me? Because you're the psychic. And I'm like, I'm gonna guide you to connect to your own intuition.
If someone is telling you, and for the people listening right now, if you hire Erika and she's a medium and the psychic part to say that, like, okay, can you tell me? That is spiritual codependency right there.
Mhm. Yeah,
So
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
just going to call it that. Okay,
Yeah, I
continue.
love that you
Yep.
call it out, because I see
Yep.
that a lot too. That since we're talking about the online space, I see a lot of coaching styles that are create that codependency. If you don't
Yep.
buy the next thing, that your
Exactly.
life is gonna be miserable. Like
Yeah.
you're not really evolving as fast, or like you're missing the train kind of thing, and you're
Yep.
losing in life. And of course, they're not wording it like that. I'm
No.
exaggerating, but these are the things that I see on the daily, and I see it because I've been to those containers. And when I have those realizations, like, whoa, I was waiting for somebody to approve what I initially thought. Because
Mm.
you always have a thought, you always have this idea in your mind, and I'm like, I need somebody, I need this reassurance by somebody more enlightened than me, that
Yeah.
somebody that knows more than me, that has more experience or more accolades or whatever it is, to tell me if what I have initially is true or not. We need that. We always looking for that feedback. Like, am I right or no? Like if like something horrendous is gonna happen if not, right? Like we are,
Mm.
because I tend to play like that. I work with kids, you guys that don't know me, like I tend to be a little bit dramatic. So my style. So we tend to think that our knowing is not good enough, that we need somebody to always guide us. And there's a lot of codependency out there. I see it a lot. I've been part of these groups for years sometimes, and I seen it. And it's until you decide, yes, reaching out for help, for guidance, to somebody to help you see the blind spots is a
Mm.
thing. But so somebody to tell you a specific roadmap that this is what your life is gonna be, and this is what is gonna evolve, and this is about the choices that you're gonna be like, no, like that's
No.
completely disempowerment. Because we are here, and this is another thing that people are, and I see it all the time, even with my own clients, that I give them a little bit of tough love. It's like, you want to make a choice, that is perfect and that is so aligned that it makes you like greater from the get-go. And that's not what we sign up for to be here in this physical experience. We sign up for the messy, the unseen,
Exactly.
the
Yeah.
uncomfortable, the shattering things, like all the things, because this is a dual world. Not all the worlds are like as dual as this one. And
Exactly.
it's very
Right.
particular because we came here for all of it. And many of us want to avoid the pain, avoid the discomfort, avoid the confrontation, avoid the judgment, all of the things. And it's like, wait a minute. So what?
Yeah.
What if I experience it? You're not gonna die. You're not gonna crumble because even if you don't believe so yet, we are equipped with everything we
Yeah.
need within ourselves to withstand all the obstacles that present themselves in everybody's life because for everybody it's going to be different. And there's this judgment that I've seen sometimes, like you see somebody, maybe it's your friend, and like she's going through something, and you're like, oh, but why is she freaking out about that? That's so like, that's her journey. Her, for you might look like something minute and small, but for her is the biggest obstacle, is the biggest thing that she could possibly ever go through. So really apply for yourself because you go through different things. You go through the things that is required for you for your own growth, for your own
Mm.
expansion. Remember that you as a soul assign yourself those things in your life. So a little bit
Yeah.
of surrendering to like, okay, doesn't have to be perfect, doesn't have to look a certain way. You're gonna be fine because what we perceive as mistakes are gonna be the biggest teachers. You're
Yeah.
never gonna do it the same way. I mean, maybe it twice, and then you're like, okay, this time around, for real, for real. But that's what obstacles are for, like what we perceive as obstacles. Like, okay,
Yeah.
maybe gather myself. Maybe you learn something new about yourself. Maybe a different quality, like more courageous, more like I talk about this lioness energy that comes out
Yeah.
of us, especially as women, because we are in a culture that doesn't well receive us. Because if you're opinionated, if you're a leader, like sometimes you're called bossy or you're not easy or all these things, right? Because but if those same
Yeah.
qualities are performed by a
Yeah.
male, they're fine, they're normal, they're expected. So we start constricting and not really being ourselves because we are afraid of being assertive because we're gonna be perceived as difficult, right? As a
Yeah.
rebel or whatever, somebody that's not fun to be around because we want to be soft and we want to be received and we're like, no, seriously, just try to find your rhythm, your voice, your truth, and let it just develop the perfect way that is meant to because we hold back a lot. I think,
Yeah.
especially as women, I've done it. I see myself sometimes in the motions, like in a slow motion as is happening in real life. And I'm seeing myself like, wait, whoa. And then I'm like, okay, when I'm aware, like you were saying, the awareness part is like, maybe I can flip it. What if even if I am uncomfortable, even if
Yeah.
it makes me like a little bit of like uneasiness in the stomach, and then like I make a choice that I don't feel that my power is taken away from me,
Oh,
or I say something that, right?
I have something now. When you said if someone, for example, wants you to tell everything, I'm
Mhm.
going back a little bit what you said. Also, to ask yourself, because somewhere on the line, when did that pattern show up? Like you said as well, because it's not about you, Erika, or me, or someone else out there that are your mentor or coach. But if you feel that you're putting them on a pedestal and want their, like you said, like bigger enlightenment, whatever, to just tell you, somewhere on the line, back in time in your childhood, there is a pattern, like
Mhm.
to recognize that. That is number one. Now, number two, that I want to like add on what you said about, I love what you said about being assertive. Is that right? Yeah.
Mhm.
And that's a masculine trait.
Yeah.
So if we go into the feminine and masculine, and when you talked about the softness and all of that, with the feminine energy, since we all have feminine and masculine energies, we need both. So I would also love to add that you can be soft and how can I say, like observe and see where you can be soft and all of that and surrender, but at the same time, then you can switch and be assertive.
I
There
love
is a dance.
that.
But as women, we've been taught to, I would say, we're talking business now, to lead like a man, but the feminine traits that is still, and I'm talking about energetics now, the feminine energetics in men and in women has not been accepted. And now there is like a revolution in the collective with the feminine energy, like the divine feminine, the raw, the real, the nature is rising.
Yeah.
And we need both. But I love right now, when I've been spending years now to really unfold in my feminine energy, which I love. But now for me, it's actually, like you said, to also in business step into my masculine,
Mhm.
my divine, my healed parts.
I love this conversation because
Yeah.
I feel it. I
Then I
feel
don't perform. Then
there
I don't
you go.
perform.
There you go.
Yeah.
Because it's like it's part of being, like
Yeah.
when you are just being from an
Mm.
authentic space, from truth,
Yeah.
from wanting to be received, not from expecting things. So that's truth.
Yeah.
And then it's you just switch from that to just being. So you do
Yeah.
being, you're not fixated into what are people gonna say, how am I gonna perceive, what am I gonna
Exactly.
get from it?
Yeah.
You just being, and in your being, you know that you will receive exactly what you need to receive from
Yeah.
that being, because this is the part that I see since we're talking on the online space coaching and all this, is like I see it a lot. It's like it's very transactional based.
Yes.
It's like I do this, and sometimes the energy, because like as yourself, I also read energy fields, and it's like the energy is so prickly, so entangled, so like, and I want to hook you in, and I want to receive your finances, and this is what I have to give you, but it's limited. It's
Mm.
not open. It's not open for possibilities. It's like very kind of contained. What I
Mm.
call containers, it's like it's really contained when you go with this all these containers. And it's like,
I
what if
love
you
it.
are in just your beingness? Because knowing that we are in co-creation with each other as we are, because that is a natural way of being, we are co-creating. So when somebody jumps in and comes into your world and receives your offers, is this dance, is this co-creation? You don't know what's gonna be. You're dropping the attachment to has to look a certain way or it has to be a certain way. And it's just like this co-creation, and I'm holding you with my being, my presence, my experience, and let's see what's gonna come out. But I am there dancing the dance, being present as we go, and magic really flows and happens because there is no this energy of containment. I'm going to keep a specific outcome that I want. I want
Mm.
this, I want this, I want this. And it's like everybody is freer, lighter. So there is this opportunity for people to also be themselves, because as you're being, others can use you as this mirror so they feel that they can also be. And there's
Yeah.
detachment from all the results and from all the things. So it's like, yeah, this is a new way of operating. This is what the that feminine energy emerging so strongly sometimes forcefully, because I feel it too as I tap into the energies of the earth. And what I feel that is happening is that we're feeling dramatically, especially in our bodies, all of us empaths, intuitives around the world, is the dismantling of the distortion of the masculine energy, the
Yeah.
masculine energy being distorted, because what we have experienced so far in the world is like this distorted aspect of the masculine. We tend to think of the masculine as sometimes in the spiritual groups as like something heavy, power based, strong and
And
all this.
bad. And
Mhm.
also bad.
In
But
bad.
we do need it.
But it's because it's being manipulated and it's
Yeah.
distorted. It's not it's at
It's
its
not the pure.
pure,
Mm.
right, right. So that's what people are waking up to, and they're like, this was not real. This is
No.
distorted. And then it's like this freaking strong feminine energy that is coming strongly at its purest form. And that's what is like shaking us, many of us, that we feel like sometimes disoriented, lack of sleep, body aches, like all things, because we're shifting paradigms so rapidly. And it's like, all right, we're doing this dance. And I notice in the collective as I talk to people that even men, because I didn't used to call in so many men in my practice. Now I'm calling in more men
I love
coming
that.
in their vulnerable, open, nurturing space. They don't
Yeah.
want to be led, they want to participate, which is like really, really beautiful to see.
Let me see what you think. But I feel that the fear behind standing in your truth and actually speak it, even if, for example, if we would have different opinions, I would absolutely like first sit with what is what, you know, like, okay. And then I would talk to you about it and like coming from, okay, this is my view. What's your view? Have you felt this? Blah, 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 back and forth. We don't have to, we can also agree of that we disagree. Like that's the beauty. But I feel that a lot of people, yes, the fear of being judged, but I think it's more than that. I think it is, if we're talking about, being like going into the performance and the masks and
The mask. Yeah.
uh, I feel that it is fear of actually showing up, being vulnerable, because when you're standing in your truth, it can also feel like a lot of vulnerable emotions until it settles. So we haven't been taught to truly show up being vulnerable and sensitive, because most of the time in my life I've been judged or been told that's not how you feel, or it's bad to cry, or it's you're so sensitive, or why are you so vulnerable, because I'm a big crier. Like I have a lot of emotions, and I'm crying almost every day now, from not for sadness, it's more emotional because I'm so grateful. But when I didn't understand my emotions, they were all over the place. So but that's a different story. But what I was going through is like what you're saying as well. When you then can hold and understand your own emotions, you hold automatically a safe space. And if you as a mentor can go in and like, okay, this is like this conversation right now, the life gives you challenges. We have a lot of challenges right now, both of us,
Yeah, in our personal lives.
and big ones. And but like you said, but our soul's evolution right now, I feel they are kind of, it's, how can I say, I'm not scared, but I used to be scared. So there is an evolution. And I can feel what you've been going through right now is also, it's big stuff. But if we kind of strip the layers away, you're speaking your truth.
Yes. And that's the thing, when you feel that you're in the right path when it comes with ease.
Yeah.
Take away the performance. You don't want to be
Yeah.
perceived as righteous, as whatever, as their right? Because we
Mm-hmm.
have this like, I want to be right, I want to be do it perfectly and all the things. And it's like,
Mm-hmm.
no, I want to do it in a way that is, I always say this to my clients, and I just don't say it. Like, this is how I run my life. Because of the way you see me, like this is how I'm in my life, in my
Yeah.
everyday, in my conversations, in my relationship. Is like one of the things that I go by is like, if you do something and you do it with the intentions that is the highest good for all, that includes you, of course, that it puts you there. But what I mean by that is that it's not malicious, it's not performative, it's not interfering with anybody's will. You are in the right path.
Yeah.
Your life is going to evolve in a way that is going to show you challenges, and those challenges might stop you on the track for a minute, but you're going to take a deep breath and you're going to handle them because you're equipped. And when you do them and you're like, wait a minute, I used to, like you were expressing, like it used to be
Yeah.
difficult for me to do X, Y, and Z. And
Yeah.
now I can do it with maybe more ease, or maybe a lot of much
Exactly.
easier, or you notice the growth, you notice the difference. And that's what is being in the right path, because when you're acting and you're not having agendas of like, I'm gonna do this and it's gonna cost this for others and it's gonna do this. Now you're doing things for yourself, you're doing things for your loved ones, and you're doing them in a way that is peaceful, is loving, is harmonious for all. And life, the universe is gonna respond to that.
Yeah.
It's gonna give you
For
all of
sure.
the elements. It's gonna put in your life the right people, everything, the right tools, the circumstances,
Abundance.
the abundance, everything, because And this is another part now that you talk about abundance. Like sometimes we feel like abundance is outside of ourselves, but it's we are abundance. We are abundance, and we have to remember that. But that's probably we should do it another one episode on like money and abundance because that's a big
Yeah,
topic that can have a lot of unpacking that we have been programmed pretty heavily. But going back to finding your path, to finding your rhythm, like you know that you're doing things right when you, what I already mentioned, like high is good for all, and you do things with ease, even if they're
yeah,
uncomfortable, even if people are like, what, this person said this, and you're like, you feel resolute, you feel stern, you feel safe, you know? And
yeah,
also, what I think is important is finding your people, finding people that you can even share. You share, like, listen, I'm going through this. Would you just hold space for me to hear me out? I think that is super important. And in part of the also big agendas and program is like, that everybody's evil, that everybody's bad, and everybody feels nervous about being vulnerable, going back to like the fear of vulnerability because we feel that we're just going to be attacked from right and left from everyone. And there might be an aspect of that, especially in the online space, because I had the trolls. I had people troll me here and
mm,
there. And I'm
yeah,
just like, okay, that's the way you feel. It took the time to get to me. Okay, that's,
yeah.
but that doesn't say anything about me.
And what you were saying, like, when you shared about sit with your like discomfort, like
Yeah.
that something is kind of triggering you, or it's a like in the body there is a what do you say, contraction or a tension. I would also like to say to take the next step is to actually, when you come to like, okay, this is what it's all about, wow, okay, having the realization to share it with someone, or if you have more than one person that you feel safe with, to share it with them, because then you're stepping outside, like then you are being vulnerable, because maybe it's something that feels like that has attachment to shame or guilt, or since we are both having shadow sides and the light, the duality.
Mhm.
I have heard a lot of people, for example. So it's not that I sit here today and like I said, oh, I'm so enlightening, I'm so perfect, blah, blah, blah. No, no, no. I've done some pretty shitty stuff in my life, but I have gone back to some of them
Mhm.
and really, like, truly, I'm really sorry. I didn't know, but this is what happened back then. And I have also not received the response back. So to be like, that's okay, because that's not why I did it.
Mhm. It's
So I
always
just want
important.
to like put out the challenge to actually share it with someone, because what I feel with you is like, this is a safe space because you're not going to trauma dump on me.
Right, right.
And that's something I've been through a lot with. That's maybe also for another episode.
Yeah,
I
because
don't know.
it's I cultivated a practice of taking responsibility for
Yeah.
my shit, right? The less than
Yeah.
ideal stuff that happens in life, and it's like why it happens.
Mm,
And I just make inventory of like, okay, why it happens? Why did I say what I, okay, can I take my words back? Can I apologize? And I apologize. And
yeah.
that was something that was new for me because I grew up in an environment that adults never apologized to me. And there was
Mm,
a lot of things that I was like, wow, like now that I see as a mom, as an educator, as a facilitator, I'm like, how possibly? But anyway, I'm not even gonna go there. Like I'm not capable of that, let's say
mm,
it. And I apologize to my child because he's very sensitive, he's
yeah.
very connected, he's very in tune, and sometimes I might seem sweet and fun, but like when you ruffle me a little bit,
Mm.
when I'm like not in a really good mind space, I'm like, wow, and fiery, and I just can come out as a
I
dragon
have a tone.
and
My
pretty
children
strong.
says, your tone, mom. Don't
You're
speak
right,
to me like this.
you're right. And my son will tell me, he will call me out all the time. My husband, he loves me to pieces, and he calls me out too when I'm like a bit much, because I
Mm,
can be a bit much with my explanations, with my points, and I'm like, okay, I don't feel and I don't think that I'm right always because like if we are in co-creation and in contribution with each other, like I need that feedback. I need
mm,
that like put me back into my place and oh. Yeah, maybe I
Me
said
too.
something that was a little bit hurtful because I can be very direct. I am sometimes too stern, and like the thing that I get things about the people that I know that are facts, and I can say things matter of factly, and they're like, oh, kind
Yeah,
of like a shock to their system and everything. And I'm like, okay, I know that I need to soften. I need to
yeah,
soften how that's gonna land, and that's it's a work in progress because we're not perfect, and that's one of the things that we also see in this performative space of healers and coaches. It is like, my life is great and I have it all figured out, all sorted, all is perfect. That is an illusion.
it is so much an
It is
illusion
not real.
behind the scenes. Yeah,
We are a work in progress.
we are.
And listen to this, like we also have, this is something that I just remember this conversation with a particular client many years ago. She was like, started on this path and learning new things to work on herself. And she's like, and then I lost my marbles, my shit. And I was like, and then she felt the guilt, the shame, the regret, all of the things. She was very ashamed by by her reaction after like she started studying spirituality. It was something new to her. And I was like, oh, bless her heart,
Yeah,
because we know that this is a journey, and I've been in this for like over 20 years, and
yeah,
I'm beginner. I know nothing. This is just an ongoing learning experience. And then I was like, listen, your guys, your spiritual team,
mm,
your higher self, and even yourself don't love you less because this incident,
mm,
what happened, by what you said. But the fact that you came back to you and you're like, oh my gosh, maybe it was too much, like that is an indicator that you're in the right path, that you're
yeah,
seeing yourself, that you are that observer, right? You're just
yeah.
not just going through the motions, and you are present in your life, and that is huge. Sometimes we think that if we start in this spiritual journey, it has to look a certain way and it's all perfect. It's a journey.
It's
It's
the only.
it's ongoing. It never ends in my awareness. As long as we're here, we're perfectly perfect individuals living life, trying to do the best of our abilities for ourselves, for our loved ones, and that let it be enough.
Yeah, and also what you said with shame. We I think we're going to wrap this episode up, but to truly like I've been when the children were after the divorce, I kind of threw shoes out of the door and like butter in the wall when I was angry one time. And I was like, oh my God, what am I doing? And my children were like watching me and like what's going on? And then I explained, like, sorry, this is what's happening. There was so much emotions.
Right.
It's not about you. I had to like
Mhm.
not had to, but I felt like compelled to explain my behavior. That it had nothing to do with them. But the reaction was something they triggered something that was my wounded inner child. But to own it, to apologize, like I said, explain it, but not shaming
I
myself for it.
know. Yeah.
Maybe that's something we can end with, like to
Yes.
truly, it's a journey, it's an experience. It's okay to also to have the pattern is repeating itself over and over and over again sometimes, and that's a part. Maybe next time we can talk a little bit about the nervous system and why like healing can feel like I'm healing and healing, but I don't see the physical abundance or financial abundance or the relationships that
Yeah.
I want to call it,
The looping
something like
cycle
that.
of healing. Yes.
Exactly. Maybe that's for the next week's topic. We'll see. What would you like to end with? Is there something you're grateful for right now? Or
Yes. And I am grateful for, and this is life happening at real. I just
yeah,
opened the door for somebody that letting yourself off the hook,
yeah,
allowing yourself to be seen with your perfect, imperfect ways with all of you, because we keep our parts of ourselves in the closet or part of ourselves hostage because that fear of how we're going to be perceived. And my invitation for you is to really allow yourself
mm,
to just be and experience with that and notice how you feel in the coming days. Like try to practice being.
Mm.
Practice being, and when you notice that you are in the doing, in do trying, rise, striving, performing, all that, don't call yourself out, just notice and
Mm.
try to go back to being and make that perhaps a new practice that you don't have to be so strict on yourself, but recalling yourself back to that with that feminine energy we were saying, that nurturing being, like connected, present, that we all have the potential to be.
I love that. I don't know. I think I want to end with, who in your life right now can you send a message or speak to, how much you appreciate them, to also give back? Because when you're actually saying it out loud to someone, whatever it is you appreciate about them, you're also giving yourself back love. So
Mm,
it's kind of,
it's coming back at you.
it's
That's
coming back.
I love that. Well,
Yeah.
with that, we're gonna leave you and wish you an amazing week ahead of you. We love you, and we'll see you next time.
See you next time.